We feel very silly. We just did an entire intro with the microphone muted. We're professionals here. That'll be on the VOD for at least a week, so enjoy that while you can, folks. Howdy, I am Jimmy Moreland with Veteran Audio, a real professional here. Today, we're going to be doing live auditions right here on the channel. So we'll be hitting up the big... the biggest voiceover casting websites. That'll be voices.com and Voice123, and doing real auditions there. Then we'll be heading over to ACX, which is the Audiobook Creation Exchange, and checking out what audiobook audition opportunities there are over there. And then if we've got time, which we've been having time, but today I think we've got a lot of auditions in front of us. But if we've got time, we'll do some real work on a real audiobook that we've been hired to do. So we'll get to all that. If you have questions, I am monitoring both Twitch and YouTube live. So wherever you're watching, if you've got a question during the live stream about gear, about software, about the business, ask me questions about microphones or interfaces or software, which DAW are you using and all of that. Happy to answer those questions. I love talking gear. For questions about business, about the biz, if you will, I'm pretty well suited on answering questions about running your personal business, because as voice actors, we are running a small business. I am less equipped to talk about sort of things deeper in sort of the showbiz aspect of this world. So if you've got questions about SAG-AFTRA and things like that, I am not the guy to answer those questions. I am not in the union. Maybe one day, but I'm pretty early in my career myself, and so those aren't things I've had to consider yet. So right now, we're just trying to further develop our career, and I hope that you get something out of going along on this journey with me and hopefully learning some things as we go. So, speaking of the journey, let's head over to our window here. We can see we've got Pro Tools on the left, and we've got our audition websites on the right. Over here, we've got voices.com. That's where we like to start. You start to learn the differences in the flavors, if you will, of voices.com and Voice123. And a big difference in the flavors is that voices.com, there's a sense of urgency. You got to be quick to respond to things as they come into voices.com. Voice123, because of the way audition casting calls are distributed, they're less urgent. Other people have already had time to look at the audition by the time you see them, generally speaking, unless you're, top 5% of talent. And if you're that, then you probably don't need to be watching this stream. You know what you're doing. But I am top 20% of talent, and so I generally will get auditions after a few people in the top 10% of talent have had a crack at it. But that's good enough. Top 20% is good enough to where you can find worthwhile work and book on Voice123. Anything lower than that, and you're gonna have a bad time. But we'll talk more about how the algorithm and everything works. All right, let's jump into voices.com, and it looks like even though we have moved the stream up 1 hour, You gotta find time that works for you. And being on the East Coast, we are in beautiful Maine, and so we're on the East Coast, and so in theory, we should have an easier time getting to jobs a little bit earlier than our friends on the West Coast, given a similar wake up time. But maybe we need to bump up that wake up time a little bit more. I mean, we can look at. Maybe we can start to build up some data and look at when are these jobs being posted, 10:14 a.m. Eastern. We've got, let's look at this one here. When was this one posted? 5:54 a.m. Okay, so you can't get them all. But it does make you think when you finally sit down and you're sort of set up and ready to go and you see that all the jobs are a bit crusty. When the first job in your queue has been up for a couple of hours and it's got dozens of responses in line ahead of you. That's kind of disheartening. So maybe we bump up the stream another hour. We'll see. I tend to be a bit of a night owl, to say the least, and that does cause me to have a little bit of a later start time. Not to say that we're not productive, but it does make you feel not great when these jobs are so crusty by the time we start the stream. So let's take a look at this job and decide if it's still worth doing an audition for, even though we are so far back in line. Let's take a look. Whether you're searching for products on source, okay. Simple ad. It's a Honeywell ad. Makes me think that maybe the budget should be higher if it's Honeywell, and if it's going to be on their landing page, or if this is a specific solutions type page. Okay. If it was like the Honeywell.com main landing page, like, no. Like the amount of views that's going to get, like, this would need to be paying way, way, way more. But this seems like it's probably more appropriate. But again, there are so many people in line ahead of us, we're going to pass. We had 18 jobs waiting for us, I think, in voices.com. And unfortunately, because we're late to the game today, it's strange. It varies day by day what you'll see as far as timing. Monday and Tuesday, we had stuff coming in while we were working, and it was great. We had a lot of auditions that we got in like within the first 5, and that was amazing. It's always amazing to get that because you can virtually guarantee that you're at least going to get listened to. The problem with these other ones is not that, like, there's nothing wrong. Like, if you get heard, if you're 49th and you get heard, then, you very well may have a really good shot of getting hired. That's that problem of, are you going to be heard if you're number 49? Like, client by client, I don't know if they really are listening to all 50 auditions they get, or all 150 auditions they get in some cases. I don't know. I would love for some casting directors or clients out there could chime in, but the casting directors that I've heard interviews with, basically the things that they say are, number one, they make a yes or no decision on each individual audition within 3 seconds, sometimes faster. Like, a no is instant. And it's not like, no, I hate this person, or no, this person's a bad voice actor. It's just, no, this isn't the right voice for this project. And that's important to keep in mind if you're sort of getting in your head about, like, I'm not getting booked, what's going on? You just haven't, the right project hasn't found you, and you haven't found it, and that's fine. So that's the one thing. They make decisions really quick per audition. And then the other thing is that, these people are really busy. Especially if this is something that is posted by a production company or a casting agency, and they're doing a lot of these every day, then they are, basically the first voice that is good enough. Generally, they're just going to go, okay, yeah, that one is close enough to what I had in my brain that we're going to save some time and just go, yes, let's go with this one. It's usually the jobs that are posted by the end client, where they're going to be really precious, and they're going to listen to every single audition, and they're going to have multiple rounds of shortlisting, and they're going to send it to their coworker and be like, hey, listen to these 10 that I've shortlisted. Could you help me narrow it down to 5? And then we'll agonize. That is rarer, I think. I don't have data to back this up, but I believe that is rarer than the case of basically going with the first voice that is close enough to what's in the caster's head. So that is why, for things that are up here in this range, we are hesitant about submitting an audition for, just so that we can protect our time. Opportunity cost is a real thing. The audience needs to feel the emotion of conviction and patriotism. This organization, Folds of Honor, it's a really simple nonprofit that I haven't done direct work with, but for a long while I worked in the veteran nonprofit org space, and I definitely have worked with orgs who have worked with Folds of Honor, and it's cool. It's a cool mission. It's pretty simple and straightforward, which is nice when your mission is it has a scope, it's got focus, and that makes it really compelling and easy to pitch and therefore get funding for. So that's good. Do we have background music? Let's take a listen. Is it gonna launch? What do we got? Come on. Okay, we've got the whole audio here. Interesting. We're going to go ahead and do this audition. Even though we're kind of late to the game, I think that just being a veteran and sort of including that in our opening line to the client might make a difference. That might be the thing that makes this worthwhile. So let's try it. America's finest have the courage. America's finest have the courage to put themselves in harm's way. Let's read their direction again here. Strong narration. Audience needs to feel the emotion of conviction and patriotism. We want the target audience to feel inspired and motivated. The example provided is a good reference for the diction we are looking for as well. Please do not include background music on your entry. That is good advice for any audition. Do not include music on your... Don't do that. First of all, that's going to take a bunch of time that you don't have. The whole point of these websites is you need to be fast, and messing around with music and sound effects is that's going to slow you down. And the other thing is that's not your job. The people who are trying to hire, they want to hear your voice as close to raw as they can get it. I think people understand that people are going to apply some noise reduction and things like that, but it shouldn't be mega compressed and EQ'd. It shouldn't sound broadcast ready. That's not what they're looking for. It needs to sound like it's ready for them to import into their project and then apply what they want to apply to it. So I with my setup, I walk that line. What I deliver sounds very raw and natural. It ain't, but that's the line you got to walk. So all that to say, don't be putting background music on your auditions. That's just, ugh. Because then, maybe your voice is perfect, but maybe you picked the wrong music. And that makes them go, well, that doesn't fit at all. Pass. It's just dumb. Just don't do it. All right. So the target audience isn't people in the military. The target audience, so this is going to be... And it's also, the target audience is not the people who might be receiving one of these flags. The target audience is people who might fund this organization. So these are people who love the military and probably didn't serve themselves, or maybe their grandfather did. But generally, these are people whose lives haven't directly been touched by the military. And so they have they've got lots of ideas in their head about what military service is like, and they just sort of they're the people that used to shout at me in the airport from 400 yards away, "Thank you for your service, soldier." I was an airman, not a soldier. Just stuff like that. People who, it makes them feel good to support a good organization, but they don't have a lot of personal context to sort of understand a lot of things, and that's okay. We appreciate those folks helping out, but it does make us sort of not cringe, but I've never known what to say to a thank you for your service. I usually just say it was a job. I was a desperate 23-year-old, and it was a paycheck. So, but that in mind, this does help us inform how we're going to read this. We're going to read this not like I would read to my buddies in uniform. We're going to read this like I would read to that person in the airport shouting down the concourse, "Thank you for your service." That person is our target audience. America's finest have the courage to put themselves... America's finest is such a loaded thing. That we really want to put some juice on it. America's finest have the courage to put themselves in harm's way, to forge the freedoms that we enjoy every single day. Is this a poem? Is this um let's see here. Is everything rhyming? Okay. I think this is a coincidence that this rhymes. We're not going to read this like a poem. Right? Yeah. Okay. That makes this tough. Like, this looks like a stanza. It looks like this is supposed to rhyme, but we're not going to read it like that. America's finest have the courage to put themselves in harm's way, to forge the freedoms that we enjoy every single day. The fact is, freedom isn't free. We gotta get out of our head and into a better space where we feel like we're doing this copy justice. America's finest have the courage to put themselves in harm's way, to forge the freedoms that we enjoy every single day. The fact is, freedom isn't free, and our patriots risk paying the ultimate sacrifice, which leaves their families with a legacy to continue. Since 2007, Folds of Honor has made it a mission to award life-changing educational scholarships to families of the brave men and women who have fallen. That is a long sentence. We're going to catch our breath while we go ahead and edit what we've got here. I feel like we could probably spend an hour like really trying to perfect this copy, but that's not what we're about. We are about being efficient with our time and getting things done good enough to get the audition. And then once you get the job, once you get hired, then you can be meticulous about every syllable and making sure that the client is happy with the final job. To continue. Since 2007, Folds of Honor has made it a mission to award life-changing educational scholarships to families of the brave men and women who have fallen or been disabled in order to meet sacrifice with hope. Folds of Honor has grown from a mission into a movement. Folds of Honor has grown from a vision into a movement. The folded flag is a constant reminder of those who have paid the ultimate price for our freedom, while giving hope to the bearers of their legacy. Okay. Let's just listen to a couple of these transitions and edit. It's probably too long. Actually, that's a little fast of a transition here. Where are we? Let's see here. Okay, now we're here. Actually, oh geez, look at that. Look at these mouth noises. Blip, 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 blip. We're going to keep the breath then from the first take and see how this goes. I'm going to shorten that, but preserve the breath. Okay, good to go. All right, grab everything, hit our auto crossfades here, turn on RX mouth declick. That causes the delay there. But y'all can't hear that right now, and that's actually okay. We will turn on the Pro Tools audio in just a second here. Folds of Honor. There we go. So that's been rendered out. Let's mute this stuff here. Oops, I didn't mean to archive that. That's my restore job. So archiving it's not permanent. You can you can undo that, which we just did there. we're just not, we're not going to mess with this. We could, agonize over like writing, a heartfelt cover letter, but we're not going to do that because we value our time. We need to move, move, move. So there we go. And come on. There we go. Get that sent off. We're going to real quick make sure that our emails are correctly monitoring. Yes, we are. So we've got up here, if you can see this little tiny icon here, I have a plugin on my browser called, I think it's called Gmail, Checker Plus for Gmail. I'm not sponsored, and I think I'm using the free version. And you don't need to use that version. Just find something that works for you. Find something that will give you an audible and a visual indicator. So you want an audible, some kind of ding or a bell when you get an email, and then you want eventually that ding will become background noise to you. So like I have emails come in and I do not process. I'm sure it's annoying on the stream, but it's background noise to me at this point because I hear that ding all the time, and so it's not something that I notice anymore. But what I do notice is when this icon is lit up red with a number of how many unread emails that I've got. So that's super, super useful for me to know, like, hey, I've got a new email. It might be an audition notification for voices.com. And so this app, this plugin in Chrome is really useful because it gives me a quick preview of that newest. It gives me like the subject line and like a couple of the first lines of the email. So I just click the thing. I don't have to open a new tab or anything. I just click the little icon and it shows me. And if that subject line says that I've got a job from voices.com, then I'm heading over to voices.com. I'm refreshing the jobs page. And I'm checking it out to see if it's worth auditioning for because, again, we want to be quick. If it's an email from Voice123, sure, we'll check it out, but that speed is not as dire. It's not as important on Voice123. That would be super fast. All right, let's move on. We've got a phone call. We love doing IVR, the on-hold messaging, that kind of work, because it's great work to get. However, just like the last audition, there are 48 people in line ahead of us, but we're only a 90% voice match because I have not done a telephony-specific demo. So that's on me. It's my own fault that I'm not a 100% voice match here. If I had just done a little bit of extra work, I could totally have a demo that would put me at a greater advantage for getting work like this. So maybe that's something that we'll do live on the stream at some point, is actually cut a demo. I am a full-scale audio and music producer. Generally speaking, producing your own demo is a horrible, horrible idea. I, however, have a very unique set of skills, if you will. And so, yes, my demos probably would be 5% better, maybe more, but I definitely have the set of skills that put me at a point where is the juice worth the squeeze to spend real money on a professional demo? It isn't cheap. A really good demo, you'll spend money, but that is your calling card. That's something that you will book work off of if it's good. My demos are booking me work, so they're good enough to at least meet that standard. But I like the ability to be super flexible because any demo idea that pops into my head, I can do it on my own time. I can do it at 1 a.m. right here in my booth. I can cut new demos based on whatever things that I see, like, oh my God, that's a really cool spot that I just saw. That's the kind of read that, like the detached read. Maybe I'll do an entire stream where I cut a telephone demo and a detached read demo. And those will be really simple and straightforward. Both of those, yeah, those are simple categories. But the detached read is a very current and modern, sort of newer kind of read that is showing up in a lot of places. And so I'm sure there are a lot of professional voice actors out there who are scrambling to put together a detached read demo. I don't have to scramble. I can sit here right at this desk, and I can create that from scratch myself. I do all the research. I find comparable ads that have good examples of the detached read. I can sort of analyze the way that they've constructed their scripts, the way that they weave in the audio. We can do all of that and create something from scratch ourselves. I never use canned scripts. Don't do that. Have someone who can write well. I feel like I'm a good writer as well. Have someone who can write well, create custom scripts tailored for you, and then get it put together. And a good demo producer will be able to sort of wrap around, provide all of those services tailored to your voice and your abilities. So it's absolutely worthwhile. But I've got the cow at home, so I'm not going to go out and pay for the milk. I don't know if that's the right way to use that metaphor, but it's a bit tortured. But this is all to say that we're going to skip this one because we're only a 90% voice match. And we're only a 90% voice match because we've been a little bit lazy and we have not made a telephone demo. So we're going to archive that for now. Let's move on to the next one. 45 responses ahead of us. That's not so bad because we're still 100%. It's an e-learning. We love to get e-learning jobs. Let's take a look here. Fun informational video to show new hires. Main character Jack is very confident. Smoky / hipster vibe. I don't know what that means. Like, is the person a smoker? I don't understand. We've got what is probably a storyboard here. Yep. Okay. Jack looks very young and very handsome. But I don't know if that's us necessarily, you know? So we've just got video, and then it's just our voice talking over it. So let's open up the script and take a look at it. Helping customers make it. Helping customers make it is not just a tagline. It's actually an equation. Okay. So they want a little bit of attitude. They want a little bit of snark. We're going to go ahead and activate this audio. So there might be a little bit of a chorus effect, but that's useful because you'll actually be able to hear the punch and roll, and then later with the edit, you'll be able to hear everything that I'm hearing. So let's go for this. Snarky. We got to have a little bit of snark here. Helping customers make it is not just a tagline. It's actually an equation. Let's take a look at a day in the life of Jack, one of our 2,600 sellers. Jack's up at 5 a.m. 276 days a year. He goes to the gym where he does 50 curls with each arm 5 times a week. Jack's pretty strong. He checks his Sue dashboard to make sure he's up to speed on everything. Then he hits the road by 7:30 a.m. We've got a truck passing by, so we're going to take this opportunity to edit what we've got so far. It took us a while to get that. Make this really short. All right, cut this. All right, we'll start there. And you'll get to hear how the punch and roll works. So my playhead is right here at the end of this sentence. So when I hit record, what will happen is that the prior 2 seconds will play in my ear, and I will begin talking along with that. And that helps me get back into the voice, back into the character, if you will. Helps me get back into the voice and back into the pace where I was. And it helps me sort of continue right on into the groove of the script. I like to say that it's like a baton race. So when you do the punch and roll, it's the one runner catching up to the next one and handing off the baton. And the moment that the baton gets handed off is right here at the playhead, where Playback stops and recording begins. And you want to give yourself a little bit of room like this so that you can make your edit point just after. So like you'll have maybe it will be recording for 0.2 of a second. And then likely you'll make your edit point just after that. Usually the end of a sentence is a good place, or if it is in the middle of a sentence and you're starting to get a little bit more experienced at this technique, then editing at breaths. So back up your playhead to just before a breath, and you might be able to cut in right on that breath. But you got to do the breath more or less the same way and definitely in the same spot for that to work out well. Otherwise, things will sound disjointed and weird. So let's see here. Where are we now? We did 7:30 a.m. was the last thing that we read, and now we're going into and Jack drives. 7:30 a.m. And Jack drives a lot. Jack, okay. 30 a.m. And Jack drives a lot. In fact, Jack drives over 2,000 miles a month and consumes over a gallon of water while he is on the road. Throughout the day, Jack connects with his team of chefs and specialists. And together, there's no and there. Okay, let's grab here. Scroll down a bit. Specialists. Together, the Dream Team puts out more than 3.2 fires per day, and the the margins on this document are a little weird. And specialists. Together, we've got our monitor making noise. And specialists. Together, the Dream Team puts out more than 3.2 fires per day and more than 3 visits from specialists to his customers. Like the time Jack noticed a customer was struggling with his menu. He texted Vince, who set up a test kitchen visit. Let's start here. Menu. He texted Vince, who set up a test with his menu. He texted Vince, who set up a test kitchen visit to develop some new... Okay, come on. With his menu. He texted Vince, who set up a test kitchen visit to develop some new options. I feel confident in my editing ability to make that edit work. That's really risky. It's like right on the cusp, but I feel confident in my ability to make that edit happen. And with hard work, you will too. Okay, so basically we started more or less doing punch and roll recording on this rather than just long rolling. But we do want to be careful and make sure. So like, God, I bet I can do this by sight. And in fact, I think it's just that. Oop. I think it's just that. Let's listen back to this though. I think that's fine. We could definitely spend all day agonizing over that, but we want to be fast, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to call this, what is this, U.S. Foods Jack? You don't know Jack. We're going to call it U.S. Foods Jack. U.S. Foods Jack. Reply to job. Mute this stuff over here so that we don't get that delay in our ears. Here we go. I love a fixed job budget that takes out all of the guesswork of ooh, am I quoting the right amount? You don't have to second guess yourself. You just know. Okay, here we go. Get the next track ready to roll. Mute that, and we're good to go there. Let's take a look at this classic video. 44 people in line ahead of us. Let's see if it's something that we want to do. The sample script is a Google Doc. It's a little suspicious, but we're going to check it out. Quantum computers are becoming more powerful every year. Computers... all right, this seems like a pretty straightforward script, but we're going to pass on this one. It's because there are 44 people in line ahead of us, and it's not like super right down the middle of our wheelhouse. Here, we're likely going to pass as well because we're only a 90% match, and there are 42 people in line ahead of us, and it's a lower budget project. So we are going to pass on this one as well, and it seems likely that we'll be passing on most of the other ones. We might look at some of these, even though they're lower budgets, you're competing with fewer people. And you also have to consider that, so the super high budget projects, that attracts the talent who are used to booking super high, but it's sort of like, yeah, the higher the budget, yeah, everyone's going to audition for it. So the number here will be higher, but the quality that number is comprised of will be higher. $135, your superstars are not going to be submitting auditions for this. It's not worth their time because they're out there booking multi-$1,000 deals. So not only do you have fewer responses because it's not as attractive a budget, but what this lower number is comprised of is, it sounds rude, but it's lower quality talent. It's less experienced talent. It's people like us who are earlier in our careers who are thinking like, boy, I wish this number was bigger, but for the time being, I would rather have $135 than not have $135. So maybe I'll go ahead and do it. So that's sort of the funny balance of, where is your personal cutoff of, is it worth my time to submit an audition or not? So we're going to consider this. Museum exhibit narration, that's something that you do see pretty frequently, different kinds of museums and walking tours and things like that. So let's look at the copy, and if it looks good to us, then maybe we'll do it. It looks like maybe it's a paid, like a corporate museum. Max Truck's Lehigh Valley Operation Facility in Macungie employs almost 3,000 people. Okay, so this is, I would not call this maybe it is like the LR Electric in front of you. So this really is like, it really is a museum. I'm guessing that this is like a corporate museum that's owned by Mack Trucks, maybe. Or maybe it's like the city of Macungie and they're like, this is like their main employer. And so they're like, hell yeah, let's promote, our biggest employer here in the Lehigh Valley or whatever. It's fun, but casual, conversational. These are super boilerplate standard tags. This is the modern read. File should be trimmed with minimal dead space at the beginning and end. Of course, thank you. We're professionals. We know that. So let's arm this track to record and record. It's a low budget, but it's a simple enough script, and we like doing, I don't know, museum reads are fun. I like them. They're simple. Mack Truck's Lehigh Valley Operations Facility in Macungie employs almost 3,000 people across two primary assembly lines to manufacture two styles of Class 8 heavy-duty trucks. One main assembly line specializes in making conventional style vocational, highway, and construction trucks. The other produces the cab-over-engine style, like the LR Electric in front of you. Like the LR Electric in front of you. From start to finish, the time needed to finish a truck is dependent on the model and how customized the truck is, but it happens faster than you may think. Okay. So there, instead of doing punch and roll, we just did the long roll style, which is good for just quickly moving through and sort of preserving your train of thought as far as the decisions that you're making. But it does mean we have to spend a little bit more time in the edit. And so here we go. Here's how that happens. Basically, I'm able to sort of by sight see where my little stops and starts were, and I can just see that like here and here, these are the same phrase, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is the same phrase as that. We're going to listen to make sure. There we go. I am correct. So let's make sure this feels and sounds like it's part of the same sort of run-on feeling. Okay, here we go. Oop. All right. Extremely annoying. So the create edit point hotkey in Pro Tools is Control E. That's like using the razor blade, the cut tool in Adobe Premiere, and I'm sure in other programs there are simple like maybe you press C to like change your cursor to like cut mode or like make a split mode, and then you just click somewhere and it happens. But in Pro Tools, you click where you want the edit to be. You click there first to put your playhead there. Then you press Control E to make the cut happen. The annoying thing is that right next to your E key is your W key, and Control W closes the window. And to my knowledge, there is no way to, let's see here. Let's open this back up. Where is my edit? Oh my God. Is this it? Here we go. Control W closes our edit window here. And to my knowledge, there's no way to like unbind that keystroke to make it like, can I please just have Control W when I misclick, when I hit W instead of E? Please, can we not have that happen? It's so annoying. Okay, Control E. There we go. Let's listen. Okay, we're happy with that. Hit that. That's this particular museum read is fun. Let's see here. We're just gonna say Mack Trucks. Museum, why not? It's very much like if you've ever seen the show How It's Made. That's what this read feels like, and I don't know. I love that read. It's such a fun, like there's not a sarcasm to it, but there's a subtle wit to even just something as simple as explaining something that might be rather mundane, but there's something hypnotic and interesting about watching how it's made and stuff like that. So that's sort of the vibe that we're going for when we read that. So what do we got here? AIS mail. Okay, what is this? So this is a brand new one. We didn't look at our. Here it is. As we were explaining earlier, we've got our email checker here, and there it is, our notification that we've got something from voices.com. So let's take a look. This is a brand new job. Only 2 people have already gotten one in. Let's take a look. Welcome to AIS Healthcare. We are leading. Okay, we're not going to read anymore. We're just going to hit record. Make this big, get our zoom level set, and we're going to hit record. Welcome to AIS Healthcare. We are a leading national pharmacy which produces customized medications used for implanted pumps prescribed to patients. Implanted pumps prescribed to patients managing their chronic pain and spasticity. Your healthcare provider has chosen to partner with us because of our commitment to the highest standards of quality. And safety. Okay. Good. Let's edit quickly here. Because we didn't punch and roll, it's not going to be a super fast edit. Okay. Do I ever get this? Holy. Maybe here? Ooh, boy. What a line. Holy. Let's see here. Which word is pain? Is that pain? And then maybe here? Okay, grab these. Where is the word of? That seems to be a good spot. Where is that? Okay, of, maybe that's of, and then that's quality. Is that right? Good to go. Select everything, apply our crossfades, turn on RX mouth declick, come up here, and we're simply going to call this AIS mail. Enter to render, reply to job, come over here and mute that so it's not so annoying. Hit general, hit our quote here, select the file, grab it, scroll down and look, 5 people in line ahead of us, not too bad. Send the response, and we are number 6. Being number 6 in line feels really good. That's where you want to be. We've got another museum narration here. Is it the same museum? It looks like it. You know, we've already submitted one thing for basically, I don't think they're actually looking for different voice. Like, surely you would want one voice to sort of have that sort of consistency throughout the entire exhibit. Maybe they do want different voices. I don't know. But we're going to go ahead and do this one. You know, it is a low budget, but it gives us another opportunity to be heard by the client. And if they do make the decision to have one voice for the entire project, then it is likely, if they like us, that we get hired for all of these different pieces. And in the future, if they need to update stuff, if they get a new exhibit, for example, then hopefully they come back to us rather than posting a new listing. And so when you get sort of repeat business from returning clients, that's gravy. That's the money that you want. That sort of return money that you don't have to audition for or fight for. You just, hey, can you read these lines? Boom, 5 minutes of work, and you make some money. Okay. Here we go. Class 8 heavy-duty trucks, like those made at Mac's Lehigh Valley Operations Plant, rely on compressed air for their brakes and their iconic air horns. Senior design engineers perform calculations and simulations to ensure enough airflow to the components that need it. Okay, we're going to do a punch and roll edit here because we need to get that right. Air horns. Senior design engineers perform calculations and simulations to assure enough air can flow to the components that need it. Then, a team of specialized technicians ensures the complex system of hoses, valves, and connectors comes together properly during assembly. Good, we feel good about that. Now, the client has been very specific about the gap that they want here. They want it to be a 2-second gap. So we're going to give them an exactly 2-second gap. And I'm looking up here at the very top. It's probably very, very small to see, but I know exactly. We're going to give it just shy of 2 seconds because we've got a little bit here at the tail of that. So that is, for all intents and purposes, at the 2-second gap. And that's it. That's the whole project. We're going to grab everything, hit Control F to bring up our automatic crossfades, turn on declick, and we're going to call this Mac Trucks Museum 2. Why not? Reply to job. Use our standard template. Put in the quote. Grab the file. And send. All right, next up, we're running near to the very last track in our Pro Tools file here, our project file. All right, this is one that we're definitely going to pass on, but let's look at it first and see what we feel about it. So this says animation category, and we got to be careful. I'm going to get some energy here. Now, animation category is probably the most frequently misused category on voices.com. I wish there was a little bit of client education about what is, like, are you sure your project is animation? Just because it is animated doesn't make it animation category. But voice acting for character, 9 lines of dialogue. That already makes me think that maybe this is animation. Let's take a look here. So we've got a reference video. Most of the dialogue can be seen in this video. The script has been checked. Interesting note to include. Let's take a look here. Okay, all very interesting. But they're telling a story. I still wouldn't call this animation. I would call this video narration. Even though it is a character, I guess animation is fine here. So interesting. And if this really is like, if this is the channel, they've got nearly, is that right? 1 million subscribers to this. Low Spec Gamer, nearly 1 million subscribers. So they're making some ad revenue for sure. But it's a pretty low budget, but it is a short part, so that's kind of fine, I think. But there are 38 people in line in front of us, and we're only a 70% voice match because, generally speaking, like I'm not the animation guy. I am your commercial voiceover, your e-learning, your audiobook narration guy. That's me. My animation chops are not up to where, like, I'm sure all 38 of these people ahead of me are super talented, and you know they're likely a better pick for the job than me. I have a sister who is a very talented animation voice actor, but this is not me. So we're going to respect our own time and pass on that one. Techno Poultry video narration. This is a narration about the company. The video is slow. Here is a reference. Like, I'm curious what the company is. Maybe this will illuminate. Oh, it's Techno Poultry Equipment. Okay. All right. So they've got a cool and interesting voiceover on the existing video. I'm curious why they haven't, like, if the company is a European company, then like why not lean into it and showcase that by your choice of voiceover. Interesting that they're looking for a North American accent. Maybe they've had some internal research that has shown that maybe for certain clients or certain demographics that they're approaching with their sales team, maybe they need an American accented voice actor. I don't know. There's a timeless question. What lies behind the perfection of an egg? Let's see here. How many people are in front of us? 48. The budget isn't super high, but this seems interesting and fun enough that we're going to go ahead and do this. There is a timeless question. What lies behind the perfection of an egg? There is a timeless question. What lies behind the perfection of an egg? It is a journey of continuous research, development, and improvement, revealing a world of experience and dedication. We stand alongside our customers, working tirelessly across every corner of the globe to supply farming systems that dynamically meet market demands. Our vision combines advanced technologies aimed to optimize production. We're going to go ahead and do punch and roll on this point here. Demands. Our vision combines advanced technologies aimed to optimize production with care and attention to well-being. We're going to, so it seems likely, given the accent that we just heard on the reference video, and given that the client location is shown as being in Italy, so we are going to make a decision as a voice actor of correcting. We can call it a typo. It's just something that makes it feel more natural as a native English speaker. Oop, we're going to insert the word there. It could be in the language of whoever wrote this up. You don't need the definite article. You don't need the il or la or el or whatever the definite article is in the language of whoever wrote this. But in English, the well-being of the animal reads much more naturally, and so we're going to make that decision, and we're going to read it that way. Demands. Our vision combines advanced technologies aimed to optimize production with care and attention to the well-being of the animal. Careful attention to detail. Okay. Just a weird line break there. Of the animal. Careful attention to detail and a commitment to quality. Quality. I have a hard time with that word. Of the animal. Careful attention to detail and a commitment to quality. I have a hard time with the word quality. Quality. It just sort of falls apart in my mouth. Of the animal. Careful attention to detail and a commitment to quality come together to create outstanding solutions. These are developed from a deep understanding of what our customers require, which we call experience. Because for us, the egg embodies our mission of quality. We're going to call that good enough. That puts it at just over 50 seconds. For voiceover auditions, general sort of commercial style voiceover auditions like this one, 50 to 60 seconds is the standard. Big old mouth noise here that I felt in the moment, but we're going to go ahead and delete that by hand. He says. And there we go. We did proper punch and roll, so we don't need to listen to any of this. We're just going to grab it all, hit our crossfades, boom. That's simple. And what's this techno poultry? Techno poultry. Here we go. All right, reply to job. Boom, boom. General. Hit our numbers there. Grab that. And come on now. Come on now. Good to go. Uploading even something as simple as a small MP3 like that. I am currently streaming to 2 different platforms, to YouTube and to Twitch. And I'm not using a sort of a repeater or a doubler service like Restream. I'm actually streaming to both at the same time from one machine. So it is like double uploading rather than uploading once and then from there that service splits it out, because I don't want to relinquish all the control that you have to relinquish if you use a service like Restream. So that means there's not a lot of bandwidth left over for other upload tasks, such as uploading stuff to voices.com. So things take a while. We've got an audiobook here. That's the category, but the length is only 700 words. What is this, a children's book? What's going on here? It's an interesting factoid book. We're going to do a standalone video on this at some point, but especially if you're getting started in audiobooks, I highly encourage you to reconsider doing factoid books, workout descriptions, and cookbooks. In fact, we're going to jump over to ACX real quick, and you'll be able to see a bunch of them. I'll go ahead and maximize this. I'm going to change my budget in the filters. Hello. I'm going to change my budget to the super low dollar amount. And we're going to see protein-packed soup sensations. What else do we have? Sleep better with insomnia. A quick guide to restful nights. What else do we have here? These little travel guides. Exploring Santa Barbara County. Mobile bar business. Deliver a unique experience like no other. And all of these that we've just called out, you'll notice, are under 3 hours. And in fact, I wish they had another bucket. I don't like this new thing that ACX has started doing. These buckets for the length of projects are not granular enough. I want a bucket that shows projects that are under 1 hour, because I will bet you that all of these ones that we've just called out, I'll bet you that all of them are under 1 hour. I'm actually wrong about the Santa Barbara County. That one's actually longer than 3 hours. But let's take a look at that. Oh, and then we've got navigating borderline personality disorder. Let's take a look at all of these. So this one, 0.8 hours. This one's 3.4 hours. That's shocking. This one's 3.7 hours. That's shocking. This one, 1.4 hours. 3.5 hours. So some of these are longer than expected. Maybe they got wise to the new length buckets. So a couple of things. And again, I will make a full sort of standalone video where I sort of more concisely boil down my thoughts. Right now, this is the live stream. We are doing stream of consciousness. But these jobs, especially the ones that are super, super short, are not going to help your career. Like, you'll earn $100 from doing this, but consider how long it's going to take you to produce that. Especially if you're a new narrator, it might take you 10 hours of work to produce this 0.8 hours of audio. That's $10 an hour. Like, is this what you want to be doing? Like, is your time only worth $10 an hour? Like, if it is, then my guy, like, go apply for a job at Home Depot and you'll be making more than that. And, then you'll get cool discounts on lumber and stuff, which is super useful. But you also have to think, like, maybe $10 an hour is great for the area that you live in and for where you are financially. Maybe that's fine. But you got to think down the road, if you want to start to narrate like really interesting titles that have like just really impactful narrated, they're written really well, maybe start working for some good publishers and stuff, you got to think about your portfolio. What are people going to think when they look you up, either on Audible or on your website, and hey, yeah, I've narrated 30 books. Oh man, I'm gonna go check them out. What are they? Oh, you've narrated 30 cookbooks? And none of them were longer than an hour, so you've done this job for a couple weeks, is what you're saying. Like, you got to think about how that looks. So generally speaking, when you think about projects to submit for, first of all, this budget range, like, just please for your own sake, if you're going to be doing a project for practically nothing, at least give yourself the potential upside for a surprise hit by doing royalty share. Royalty share is $0 up front, but you've got the potential of real earnings if that book happens to somehow be a hit. It's a long shot, especially when you're just getting started and you don't really have a portfolio to show. And you probably don't have, an amazing set of skills, and maybe your audio quality isn't, perfect or whatever. But when you're just getting started, royalty share, I understand the need for cash flow early on, but I would suggest, rather than doing the desperate short pops of cash that you'll get from doing jobs like this, I would suggest instead keeping your day job a little longer, as miserable as it may be. Keep your day job a little longer, and instead of doing these, do the royalty share projects. And don't do the royalty share version of these projects, because I promise they're not going to sell super well, and you're never going to make your money back. So respect your own time, respect yourself, and really reconsider doing the super short explainer type projects. And like, I've narrated some books that some people wouldn't find interesting. Like, I've read some like really gritty, like detailed nonfiction, like financial planning type books and things like that, that generally aren't super interesting. But like, I have an MBA, I've got a business degree, and like, I understand what I'm talking about, and it's relatively interesting, and it's good for me to brush up on some of these concepts that are being discussed in these books. But are you really, some of these, like, I don't know. Maybe this is interesting to you and you just want to do it just because, but really be wary of how it's going to look in your portfolio, and respect yourself as far as these budgets. Anyway, back to this job. We're looking at this again. So again, I'm shocked that there are already 67 responses to this. I am shocked that this many people are interested in reading a a list of facts. Okay, like more power to you all. This is definitely something that we're going to pass on. Like, I would actually be more inclined if the fact that they've categorized it as audiobooks seems to imply that the end destination for that project is an audiobook platform like Audible. And I actually don't want a 5-minute audiobook project associated with my name on Audible, because when publishers or potential authors or rights holder clients, when they look me up, I don't want them to see a 5-minute project in my portfolio. I want them only to see long, like real books. Like, I'm not trying to disparage like what is, potentially a valuable, like legitimate project, but in my portfolio for the kind of work that I want to get and do in the future, basically do the work now that you want to continue doing in the future. It might be of a lower quality, it might be more obscure or whatever, but if you don't want to narrate, short, poor paying cookbooks and factoid books and exercise routines, if you don't want to narrate those in the future for little money, don't do them now. Like, why would you reap what you sow. So something a little better than those things. This one, there's already 71 responses in line ahead of us, so we're gonna pass without even looking at any of the details. No reason to feel the FOMO of missing out on a job that might be so perfect and wonderful and great for us, but we're gonna pass because there's no point. Likewise here, 66. That's enough responses that we're just like, we're gonna move on. And it seems likely that that's where we are. More phone messages. Again, God, if we had just created a phone demo, we'd be 100% match here. And this is right on the cusp of like, hey, maybe I do submit an audition. But we're going to pass for now. So maybe that's the next thing. Maybe later this week on the stream, or maybe that's a thing for next week. This week, we might do an extra live stream for doing our full finished hour project. Let's see here. Yeah, we're going to pass on this one. Already 59 responses ahead of us, and we're only a 90% voice match. And there's something apparently wrong with these scripts because someone has reported this as being, quote, intended for another talent. So I'm not even interested to find out what that's about. Here we've got 90 responses. So we're just going to pass on that one. And that is everything in the queue right now for voices.com. Again, we are going to monitor our little email plugin. So if something comes in from voices.com, we'll be able to come back to this tab, refresh, and hit that right away. Right now, though, we're going to head up to Voice123. Now, we are going to do the thing that our friends at Voice123 asked us to do, and that is we're going to go in real quick off stream, and we're going to check each one of these to make sure each of these clients has their name obscured. Voice123 has the option for clients to use like a sort of a generic client name and number when they post a project. So we're making sure they've all done that because sometimes people don't do that. And instead it shows like first and last name and like maybe even like a profile picture. And one of these is that case. One of these has their full name posted. So let's see. It is one that we're going to pass on because they requested 50 proposals and they're at 84 proposals. So in that case, we're going to go ahead and archive that one. And that means we can come back to the full screen stream here and continue with our normal process here. So the first thing that we do to flesh out our queue here is we eliminate jobs that have more proposals than they've asked for, because that means it's extremely unlikely that we'll get listened to. So for example, this one, they requested 40 proposals. They've got 50. So if we're number 51, like how likely is it that we're going to get listened to? Not very likely. So we're going to just archive that. We're not even going to open up and look at it and get our hopes up and feel very sad that we missed it. We're doing the same thing here. We are just moving through these. This is what you got to do to respect your own time. This one here, it's at 49 out of 50 proposals. This one I'm not going to even try because you just know. Oh, it's 49 out of 50. I'm going to be number 50. You know that even if you're really, really fast with your audition, by the time you record it, do the quick edit, export it, get into the upload dialog, someone else would have taken slot number 50. So we're not going to set ourselves up for a heartbreak like that, and we're going to pass on that one. All right. This is one that is really easy to pass on. I did a long rant yesterday about this kind of job. TTS, that is text to speech. This is someone is using your voice to train an AI voice. They're going to make it to where they can make your voice say anything they damn well please. And potentially they're going to allow others to sublicense your voice to make it say anything they damn well please. If you've got a really tightly tailored agreement and it's for something like a weather app, to where like, oh, I hit my weather app and like maybe it's useful while I'm driving and you say, you know, Siri or whomever, what's the weather? And like, boom, a voice comes on and says like, it is, you know, expect light rain in the next 2 hours. Like that's, I think, a suitable use for an AI voice. And if you can get that job and it's really narrowly tailored to where that is the only thing they can use your voice for, they can't sublicense it out for someone else to go like, oh, here's a good sounding voice. I'm going to use this to promote my website that is full of anti-Semitism and whatever. Like that is the absolute danger, a very real danger of allowing your voice to be used for an AI. To generate voiceovers for all purposes. That's the objective. Like, how will the voice data be used? Unending, but will be revocable on request after 8 years. You will not be, well, yeah. Oh, no. And this budget, you might think, oh my God, $7,500? That will pay my rent for 4 months or however long. Like, that's amazing. Consider the scenario we just talked about, but consider that you may be conflicting yourself out of all kinds of work forever. It ain't worth it, my friends. It ain't worth it. The number that I've heard, like, legitimate professionals talk about, like, if you're wanting to basically sign away your voice, give away your voice like Ariel in the frickin' Little Mermaid, the number is 1 million. That's the minimum. 1 million. Because I might not ever be able to work again if I sign away my voice to be used as an AI voice. I might not ever be able to work again. And 1 million is the minimum I need to put that into a financial instrument that allows me to get a 5% annuity for the rest of my life. That's $50,000. I can live off of that. And that's what you need to consider. Like, you might be absolutely preventing yourself from working in this industry ever, ever, ever again if you give your voice away to text-to-speech. Is $7,500 worth that? Not for me. So we're going to decline, and we're going to write in TTS. I know that all these websites are trying to grapple with and figure out how they want to do, how they want to incorporate text-to-speech and offer that as an option to clients who are interested. But I think that needs to be, create a different website for it. Like, it shouldn't be on voices.com and voice123.com. It should be like aivoices.com and aivoice123.com or whatever. Create a subdomain. Do something so that it's clear as a client, if I'm on voices.com, like, I'm looking for human voices. Like, I do not understand. I guess it's just all about money, and I guess that they've made the decision that this is the way to get money here. So let's see. We're moving back here. We've done the TTS rant. We've done it, and we've archived that job, so we're not going to do it. But we got our little email notification that we've got this video here, so we want to be quick. There's only one response in line ahead of us. It's a decent budget. It's a short-ish project, superhero comic style video though. We've got a reference file. We're going to listen to that, see what this is all about. Here we go. Please play. Music. I'm curious, like, of the tone and inflections, just need a male voice. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and give this a shot. Here we go. It was 1904 in the heart of New York City. The shadows of injustice loomed large, where a revolutionary idea took root. Okay, so this isn't actually like superhero. This is Big Brothers Big Sisters. Great organization. They want it to be a little bit dramatic, and so I get that. Okay. I get it now. It was 1904 in the heart of New York City. The shadows of injustice loomed. We've got a truck passing by. Ooh, that's a loud one. Look at that. That is a loud, loud truck. That's the price we pay to live in a beautiful part on the coast of Maine here. It was 1904 in the heart of New York City. The shadows of injustice loomed large, where a revolutionary idea took root in the heart of a man named Ernest Coulter. Ernest envisioned a world where young people could find guidance, friendship, and support in the form of a mentor. The read is developing. We're getting a sense for how we actually want to approach this as we do it, and that's fine. This is a process. It was 1904 in the heart of New York City. The shadows of injustice loomed large, where a revolutionary idea took root in the heart of a man named Ernest Coulter. Ernest envisioned a world where young people could find guidance, friendship, and support in the form of a mentor, an idea that would change lives forever. His idea was simple yet profound, a positive disruption to the societal norms of the time. From the beginning of one man's vision, a transformative mentorship movement began. Our mission reached across state borders. The lives of young people were positively impacted forever, and our ecosystem around young people grew, including new partners and heroes along the way. And this mentorship movement transforms... Okay, here we go. Along the way. Actually, that's actually where we're going to end it, because we have just reached our 50-second mark, and that is all you get. Voiceover auditions like this, 50 to 60 seconds. Audiobook auditions are going to be 3 to 5 minutes. Makes sense. It's a much longer project. Huge commitment from the rights holder for an audiobook. And a much broader breadth and depth of characters and emotions. So this is Big Brothers, Big Sisters origin story. There we go. And do that. Close the document. Come up here. Reply to job. Hit this. We are actually going to make a note in our response about like, hey, love the... Such a great org. There we go. That's simple. We're not going to write our life story or anything like that. Oh, this is great. So the benefit of having the voices.com window up and open and occasionally interacting with it or just refreshing the window gives us the opportunity to get in so early on a job. We've got a reference file here. I don't know why. We've got a video. Let's take a look here. What does this say? Please read the titles also. Please find reference video. Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. Super standard. We're just going to read this because we want to be first. Panama, A country that transcends its borders as a logistics hub facing significant challenges. Okay. Panama. A country that transcends its borders as a logistics hub facing significant challenges. At Alliance Logistics Group, we excel at overcoming these challenges, benefiting our clients and fostering the growth of global trade. We are more than a company. We are a consolidated... we're going to go ahead and make this edit here so that we don't forget. Right, that was the edit, right? Maybe we'll shorten that just a bit there, and then we'll hit record from here. Trade. We are more than a company. We are a consolidated... My monitor made a little noise. Trade. We are more than a company. We are a consolidated... Can I say the word consolidated, please? Consolidated. Global trade. We are more than a company. We are a consolidated... All right, we're going to move our playhead forward a little bit just to get that one line. Company. We are a consolidated business group, the result of the merger of 7 companies specialized in logistics services. Okay, we're going to, let's see here, everything else has been edited, so we're going to make these edit points here, and then here, and then we need to make sure we grab the right version. Okay, this, and then I think we make this cut here. Let's listen to that to be sure. We're actually going to delete this breath. Generally, we like to preserve breaths because humans breathe. We're going to put a little bit more of a gap there. Okay. Hit our crossfades. Turn on declick. Bounce that out. Panama corporate. How about that? Corporate. Let's see how many people got in line ahead of us, huh? Huh? General 190. Select file. Get that uploading. 4 people ahead of us in line. That's all right. We're number 5. And here's the email for that. So we saw the job before the email went out. There's a little bit of a delay from when it hits the front page of the job queue to when the email actually goes out. So if you are actually in this window and you either click refresh or you do something else in the website that causes this to refresh, then you might actually get, a few seconds, maybe even up to a minute of sort of first dibs on a project. And on voices.com, that actually can matter. As we saw there, I was, 4th or 5th in line? That's amazing. We love to see that. So something I have to do real quick here. You'll see that this, the name of this track up here, if you can see it on the stream, I know it's tiny, is voice.duplicate number 124. I have reached the limit of the amount of tracks that one can have in Pro Tools, and that limit is 128. That's 124 duplicates of the original track, so that's actually 125 tracks. Plus I've got my room tone, that's 126. Plus I've got my FX input thing. It's a way that I route things that's just, it's just for me. You don't need to worry about it. That's 127. And then I've got my output bus. That's 128. This output bus is basically a master track, but I just set it up as an output bus, thinking I might also have a master track, but I didn't end up needing it. So the output bus is acting as the master track. So there we go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create another duplicate of this project using our template here. And this might take just a moment here. So let's go, is open recent? Let's do just open project. First, we'll go ahead and save this, and then we'll go open project. And we're going to have to navigate to our silly little, we're going to take you off stream so that you don't see all my secret file navigation techniques. these are these are proprietary techniques that we've got here. So we're going through, and I need to find. I sort of did it silly the way I did it there, but we'll be okay here. Let's see. So audiobook template, main. No, that's audiobook. Voice audition template. There we go. So we're going to open up this one. And we're not going to make the silly mistake we did last time. So a couple things. First of all, we're going to make sure that our D-click is set to the appropriate. There we go. And now we're going to save this as, save as. We're going to save this in the correct spot because right now it's on a different drive. Voiceover, auditions, main. Okay. And then we're also going to save this as a copy. _1. Okay. So now we can get back to work. And here we go. Heading back over to Voice123, we had a long chat about why TTS projects are doo-doo. This project is already at 20 out of 25 proposals, quite a low budget. Okay, what is the problem with this is we don't know what the product is. Over the past 50 years, we've had a lot of looks. Now we're moving towards one. That's generally how the emphasis or whatever will go. But we need to know the product or service because that informs how we read this. Because if this is a beauty product, if this is shampoo or some kind of product like that, that's a different read than if this is power tools or motorcycles or pickup trucks. Like that's a very, very different read. And so this client has done themselves an enormous disservice by not letting us know like what we're reading for. This client is going to get reads that are all over the place. They're going to get the beauty product read. They're going to get the food read. They're going to get the Harley Davidson read. They're going to get all these different reads, and they're going to be thinking to themselves, well, half of these aren't right at all. Like, what are these idiot talent thinking? Like, my brother in Christ, just give us a little bit more information, and we'll give you the read that you're looking for. So that's unfortunate. For that reason, we're going to pass it up. We just need more information. Like, sorry, we do. Short play, melee. So are they looking like melee as in the language? It looks like yes. So this is I'm shocked that they have 15 proposals already. So A, they're looking for a quote. They don't know how much they want to spend. And B, they're not looking for custom auditions, so they can't provide a snippet of a script, maybe that includes some melee lines to where they can confirm, like, okay, is the talent that is auditioning, can they read melee lines? Like, what is this client doing? Like, good luck. I really hope the best. I hope that these 15 talent are super prepared to read melee lines. I really hope so. Obviously, that's not for us. So we're going to skip that one. A powder locations. Short script. They're going to cut it down to 4 edits. That's super standard. Okay. Austin Powder works in a variety of locations across the country. In Kentucky and Tennessee, they're blasting limestone both above and below ground. This is fun. This is very much going to be sort of similar to the how it's made sort of read, at least in my interpretation. I love doing that read. We are nearing the limit of proposals, but these people review most of the proposals that they get, so we feel pretty confident that we'll be listened to at least. Right here it says, we're looking for gruff, strong-sounding male figure to read the script. The company is for blue-collar workers, usually working in quarries with explosives. Similar to a DIY store ad. They know exactly what they're looking for. Love that. This is the Home Depot read, the Ford trucks read. Love it. So I actually live just maybe a 5-minute drive from a major limestone quarry, and it's definitely, that's in the DNA of the area that I live in. I've only lived here a couple years, but I like to feel that it infuses the air around here. So we're gonna do this read. Here we go. Austin Powder works in a variety of locations across the country. In Kentucky and Tennessee, they're blasting limestone both above and below ground. Today, they are at the Caldwell Stone Quarry in Danville, Kentucky. Blaster Tracy Boblet is working around some expensive equipment owned by the quarry. that sits in the direction of the blast. Cool. Really simple, straightforward. Love this kind of copy. Gotta copy this again here. Paste. Drag this in. We didn't do punch and roll, so we're gonna have to actually make these edits by hand. We're actually going to, for the sake of pacing, delete this breath. We don't delete breaths just for the sake of deleting them. Humans breathe, so we leave them in, but for pacing, we're eliminating that breath. Was that? Right, I reread that line. And then here is that edit. Really tight edit here. So that's a little too jarring. So we're going to keep the original owned by the. So let's move this even further back. Maybe to here. That sounds fine to me. Delete that. Grab all this. Hit our crossfades. Turn on declick. Make it active. Bounce it out. We're just going to call this Austin Powder. Austin Powder. He's your man. Austin Powder. Enter, enter. Mute those. Accept the invite. Click here to grab. Oops. Don't know why I did that. Oh, did this bounce out to the wrong spot? Let's take a look here. Bounce. Yep, it bounced to the wrong folder. Let's fix that. Let's go to M2 right, please. Pro Tools bounces. VoiceOver auditions. Use that folder. Thank you. Bounce, bounce. Okay. So we're still good to go, and there it is. We had pulled up an old project template that existed on a drive that was our primary project drive on our old PC. This PC is relatively new. I've only had this thing for about 3 weeks. Built it with my own 2 hands, and this. Okay, that is the right thing. Really like my first couple of words there. The first 3 seconds are the most important, and I feel like the way that I attack the word Austin, I think that they're going to like that. So we don't like to get our hopes up about individual projects, but I feel good. I feel like if they hear me, I'm number 30. I feel like if they hear me, I feel like we got a good chance at booking this one, but we're going to fire and forget and move on here. Calm tablet narrator. This couldn't be more different of a read. Let's take a look here. Young adult voice, so maybe this isn't us. Subdued, non-commercial read. Imagine a Gen Z yogi. So this isn't really us. So, okay. This is Daylight. It's not here to change your life, but it might change the way you think about screens. Like, we might have a lot of fun doing this, but they are very specific about the age that they're looking for. They said it twice: young adult and Gen Z. So like, neither of those are us. We're just a regular plain old adult. We're not young. I'd like to think we're not old yet. And certainly the voice is not that of a young adult or a Gen Z person. So we're going to respect the client's wishes and save ourselves a headache in the algorithm, because we went ahead and submitted for this. We're not going to get hired because we're not a young adult or Gen Z sounding person. And we're not even going to get a thumbs up because they're like, what are you doing? You're not going to get shortlisted because we're not even going to consider you. Not because you're not good at your job, because you're not a good fit. And they were very clear about what will make a good fit. And if you get listened to but not hired or thumbs upped, then you're going to get dinged in the algorithm, and you live and die by the algorithm in Voice123. So for those reasons, we're going to pass on that. We're going to refresh both of these pages to see if there's something brand new that we're missing, and there's not. We're going to head over to ACX, and we're going to reset our filter. I'm going to go and maximize this for a second so that we can reset our budget filter to the one that we like to be in, the 200 to 400 range. The 400 to 1,000 range, maybe these are real projects, but I don't know. I don't know who's coming to ACX with these kind of projects. If you've got that kind of budget to pay, then chances are you're probably working with a publishing house that has their own method of acquiring talent. They're not coming, like Podium, Random House, Blackstone, they're not coming to ACX. They've got their own, some of them have their own portals. Hachette isn't coming to ACX. Like, they've got their own roster that they reach out to. They're not coming to ACX. So I'm not saying that these aren't real projects that people are auditioning for and getting real money for. Maybe they are legitimate. But I just think that the likelihood of those being real projects is low, and so I don't even bother myself with it. So the $200 to $400 bucket is where I like to live. My standard rate is the same rate that is on the GVAA rate guide. If you just Google GVAA rate guide, you will find that. And those are good standard rates to quote if you are looking at doing a kind of work that you like, oh my God, how do I quote this? I have no idea. Or you're looking at an offer from a client and going like, is that a fair rate that they're offering me? You can look at the GVA rate guide, and for just about any kind of work, you'll find it on there, and you'll find out what they consider the fair market rate for. It's a good benchmark. In certain cases, you'll need to be paid way higher than the GVAA rate guide, depending on usage and all that. And in certain cases, depending on the market and things like that, maybe the fair market rate for that work is lower than what the GVAA rate guide suggests. It all depends. So don't hew to the GVAA rate guide as an infallible, set in stone guide. It is just a guide. So let it inform your decisions, not dictate them. But that being said, my rate that I quote every author that comes to me is $250 per finished hour. That is a rate that makes sense for me as far as the bills I need to pay. And it is a rate that is fair, I think, for what I bring to the table, what I offer, both in my direct narration services and in the other services that I provide to my authors and rights holders. And I think it's an attainable and a realistic number for indie authors and rights holders and small publishing houses to be able to afford. I am by no means a superstar in the world of audiobooks, but I would call myself established. I've been doing this for a few years, and so that's I think a commensurate rate for the service that I'm providing. So let's take a look here. We have already submitted an audition for this. This is sorted in by recently posted, so it is like a descending order of time. So we've already submitted for this one. So the only audition that is something that we haven't necessarily seen is this one here, but they are looking for a British Northern Irish accent. We did actually see this yesterday, but this is where new projects would be. So there's no new projects for us on ACX. And that means that we're going to head over and look at our audiobook project, and we're going to go ahead and pick up where we left off yesterday, and that is proofing for our most recent chapter. So we're going to open our audiobook chapter. Let's take a look. Go ahead and save that. We're going to open up Positron. Thank you. Log in, please. Come in here. Actually, no, we'll keep it full screen. Actually, you know what? Oh, we finished doing... So, never mind. We are set. We've actually got some cool stuff coming up. Our narrating partner, who is an absolute superstar. This thing is wigging out and it's annoying. Our narrating partner is a superstar, and they finally have finished all of the projects in their queue, and they're ready to start working on Accidental Healer with us. So on the behind the scenes note, we're going to start to put the book together, and it'll be really cool to see it like chapter by chapter start to get built, and that'll be really fun and exciting. So today I will be putting together the first 15 minutes check, because that 15 minutes that we send to the author, who is also the rights holder, we'll send it off to him for approval, and if he approves basically the way both myself and my narrating partner Teresa Backen, if he approves the way both of us are reading, then we're good to go, and we can actually like churn through the book and get it done. And then we just go from there. We are going to try, maybe we'll do it tomorrow, seems like it might be a good day, to try and do our full finished hour production video. That might be when I do it. I will live stream the process later than this stream slot. So I will do my normal live stream, just like we've been doing here, auditions from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern time. And then I'm going to take a long break. I'll get some lunch. I will take care of some other business and maybe chores around the house. Who knows? And then we'll come back probably in the evening, and we will sit down. We will go live on the stream, and we will go through the long process of producing a complete finished hour from scratch. And so if you want to come by, I'll try to put that on the schedule if I really do think I can commit to that time slot. It'll be on the calendar on Twitch. YouTube is just like, it is what it is. So we'll be producing that live finished hour, and that finished video that'll like actually edit together and make it nice and concise. It won't be my normal rambling like I am right now. It'll be nicely concise and scripted, and I'll put that together, and that will go up as its own standalone video on YouTube. So if you want to check that out, keep your eyes open for that. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow at same time, 1 p.m. Eastern. Hit me up, Jade. Jade's here. Jade, I'm just wrapping up. I'm so sorry that I missed you. We're just wrapping up here. We've bumped the stream to start an hour earlier, just so that we get to auditions a little bit earlier, because we've been noticing that sometimes the audition feed is a bit stale, a bit crusty by the time we get to it. So we bumped the stream up, and we might actually end up bumping it up again if I think that my night owl sleep schedule will be able to support that. But no worries, Jade. I'll have that really long format video coming hopefully next week. I might try to settle into a schedule of doing obviously the live streams Monday through Friday, and then like some kind of produced video content that'll drop either on the weekend or maybe Mondays, something like that. So keep a lookout for that. But thanks for stopping by. Always good to see you. We'll see you next time. I'll be starting at 1 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, unless this email that I got is a voices.com. It's not. It's a Voice123. So it's not timely. It's not something that we need to get into right away. But very good. I hope business is going well for you, Jade. feel free to, if you've got things you can share. I'd love to hear what awesome business is going on for the viewers. So if you've got a cool book that you're working on, you can talk about that. But maybe we'll chat about that next time. For right now, I've got to get some lunch in me. So thanks for stopping by. We'll see you tomorrow, and we'll go from there. So check out. If you wanna book me, if you wanna pay me to talk for you, head over to veteranaudio.com. Email is right there on the front page. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, y'all. Bye.